tuning. How's everyone doing? As many of you know, I got my plaque. Where is everybody? Is anybody here? Is the internet down? Weird. I already got a like, so somebody's there. I'm green here. Might be the internet's down. Let me get this. That. To actually see the writing there. Oh, here are people starting to show up. Sam, good morning. Good afternoon. Well, that was an interesting weekend of football. Hey, Steve, how's it going? Liverpool. Oh yeah, I think you commented on a video the other day, and I commented back. Were you the one that I commented back to? It's funny because you commented. Somebody from Liverpool commented a couple days ago, and the night before I was on Google Maps, and I was marking all these places like John's house and Paul's house and George's childhood home and the Cavern Club and the Cashbox Coffee Shop and all those, a lot of the places that the Beatles people want to go to. Hey, Bruce. Hey, Holly. Good morning. And so I was marking all those, and then I get a comment from Liverpool, which is pretty cool. The plan, the thinking is at some point I'll be, oh, thanks, Joseph. You bought my coffee. Actually, it was more today. Starbucks has been a cluster blank as of late. The one near me is almost always closed. The main Starbucks. The drive-thru is open, but I always walk to it, so it's like I can't get in the. They won't let me walk through the drive-thru line. So I tried. No, I didn't try. I asked, and then the one across the street at the grocery store, they don't have coffee. I'm like, how can you? And they had no pastries, nothing, no sandwiches, nothing. Just I could get a latte. They only had espresso, so I could get a latte. So this is a latte today, and it's like 50% more than I normally spend. In fact, my Starbucks card is now empty. I have to recharge it, and I'm rethinking it. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow I'll get the coffee machine going, and I'll make it myself. Anytime I make it myself, it never tastes good. I don't know why. Hey, Barry, Steve Barry, Jack Lloyd. Yeah, that football weekend was crazy. Rob, good to see you. My sister teaches at Rhode Island School of Design. So I don't know if you're anywhere near that, if you're in Providence, but she teaches there. She's taught there for 35 years. I had a meeting last week with a CEO of a company called Critique, and they have this thing. It's kind of cool. It's fascinating talking to him about it and kind of learning the machinations of having a company and dealing with Apple and all that stuff. But so the premise of this company is that you are quote unquote an expert, and you have experts on this app. Right now they're just getting ready to launch, and I think they've done a soft launch, and mostly what they have are athletes. And I even asked the president. I said, did you are you a jock or something? And because all your current experts are mostly like, they got shooting coaches, and NBA shooting coaches and stuff. So what you do is it sounds crazy, but it actually works pretty well. like a kid, this one video they showed was this girl working on her trying to dunk in basketball, and they have this guy who's an expert on that, and the dad filmed her approach, and then it's like you get a 15-second to 30-second video, or it could be a JPEG or something if you're a photographer. It could even be a PDF because they have experts on. They have photographers, professional photographers. They also have experts on venture capital things, which is interesting. And this guy that started this company, he had another company that he sold 4 years ago for millions of dollars. And so that's why he's starting this one. This one's more of his dream kind of thing. So anyway, you send a video 15 to 30 seconds. Hey, what can we do better? Is there something she's not doing quite right or something? And then the cool thing is on the expert side, we have an app, and then we can scroll through. We film ourselves talking, so our face is in the corner. We scroll through the video and we can highlight. We can put little red X's. We can mark it up. And the thing is, you just send about a 1 to 2 minute reply. And what it allows, and I would have loved to have had this when I was a kid. I would have loved to send my plane or something, or my pictures of my gear or something to the pros in LA before I moved out here. They probably would have told me to stay home. And some people might send me songs and get my critique on their songs, that kind of thing. There could even be YouTubers that ask me questions about YouTubing. So, but so it's, and then they pay for that, and you can charge anywhere for like $25 to $300 depending on how big you are. So I thought that it's an interesting premise. Where's my, it stands right back there. Okay, so let's see, how many do we have? Do we have a quorum? Hey, Lena's here. Good to see you. Sorry, I missed you before. Okay. Yeah, my sister's in Connecticut. So last time I went to see her, though, we did go to Providence. Twice, actually. But it wasn't the best circumstance. My father was there in the hospital, so probably wouldn't have had time to get coffee. And I wasn't driving. So, Anton, good to see you. We're going to talk some more about songwriting here in a second. But, I hit 100,000 right before Christmas, right? And so they sent me a notification on the YouTube creator page. A little notification up there. Here's my code. Click on this link, enter this code, and then tell us what you want the plaque to say. Like, what name do you want on it? And I was thinking, they gave examples, and it looked like most of the examples were the names of the channels. And so that's just what I did. I went with Pro Guitar Secrets. Not really thinking about it. I should have put just Tom Strahle. But I had him put Pro Guitar Secrets. And then they said, oh, we'll email you when it's shipped. So about a week ago, I get an email from UPS saying, we have your item and we're bringing it, it'll be here on Friday or whatever. And then on Friday, I got a notification saying it won't be there till Saturday between 1:30 and 5:30. I'm like, okay, whatever, and I usually leave for church around 3:30 or so. So I thought, well, it'll just sit at the door. And but I go to open up the windows on the front of the house, and I see a UPS truck around noon in my driveway, and I'm like, oh, it must be here. And I'm like, okay, I go out, and I'm like, okay, where's the driver? And he's nowhere. Okay, so I go back in the house, and I'm just kind of walking to the kitchen, and I look back, and there's the driver. He's walking up the driveway with a big smile on his face, holding this. He's like, like this. He knew what it was. It was pretty funny, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's here. And so I went out there, and he was like, congratulations. It was like, wow. I said, you get to deliver a lot of these? He goes, no, I've only done one other one, an Armenian lady with a cooking channel. And I went, oh, that's so cool. And he goes, I know who you are. I said, what? He goes, yeah, my son watches your videos. I said, you're kidding. It was hilarious. So, I don't get recognized very often. I mean, because at church, people in my neighborhood always say, "Hey, Tom," whatever. But that's the same as anybody, right? Occasionally, I'll have somebody do a shout out, "Hey, YouTube," or something like that. But that's pretty rare. It's probably happened twice. So yes, I've opened the package. Sam, I opened it because I wanted to film a opening video with the better cameras and everything. So this wouldn't have been a good quality. I don't know if more people will see it here or see it in that video, but I also did a shout outs and I talked a little bit about how I got there. I think I'm gonna do another video. Probably I'll do it under my on the playlist that is the business of making music. And I can remember when I first got revenue for YouTube, it would show up. They wouldn't send you a check yet because you set the, and I don't remember that I ever got a check. I think it was always direct deposit, but you set the amount where you want it to kick in, and I think I set it at $100. Don't make a deposit unless it hits $100. And I remember the first time it had any money in it was $3, and I went, "Whoa, that's pretty cool." And the next month it was $7, and I went, "Oh, I like this trajectory." And then the next month it was like $13, and I'm like, "That's crazy," And I'm in my head I'm extrapolating and going, "Wow, in a year, if it doubles every month, I'll be a billionaire by the end of next year." And I would joke that, hey, if it gets to $100, it'll pay for my coffee every month. And it got to $100 and blew past it. And so that was pretty cool. So I'm going to show this to you. But it was cool. It came like this in a box, and I opened it up with this. Had a foam cover on it. Had a really cool. Hold on a second. Let me get this out. Had a letter on top. And a form letter, right? And I'll read this to you. It says, "Some 100,000 subscribers. Just how far have you come? If each of your subscribers were a light year, they could take you from one side of the Milky Way to the other. That's far." It's a weird analogy. And it's why today we're so excited to celebrate your special YouTube journey with you. To celebrate your special YouTube journey with you. It's kind of an awkward sentence. Not only have you brought a unique voice and style to the world, like Susan, which it was signed by the president of YouTube. I mean, she probably has to sign 100 of these a day, maybe more. Let's see. Not only have you brought a unique voice and style to the world, you've also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. Indeed, you guys are my community here. Let's see. In that spirit, YouTube is proud to present you with a Silver Creator Award, which celebrates your hard work and incredible achievement. Congratulations on this amazing milestone. Just one of many we hope will follow in the future. After all, there are countless others who have yet to discover your passion and dedication. That's definitely true. Whether they come to your channel to learn something new or just for a laugh, interesting, a whole new audience is waiting for you. Just come and laugh at me. Holy cow. We can't wait to see you. And it says, signed sincerely, Susan, I don't know how to say her name. W-O-J, you can see right there. W-O-J-C-I-C-K-I. Wojcicki, something like that. Anyway. And then, now here's the award. Okay. The gold one is bigger, just so you know. So the silver one's smaller. The next one is the diamond, and that's smaller, but it's kind of flashy. It's very blingy, and it's for 10 million. So there it is. You can see yourself right there. See, you guys can see yourself in the award. So, and I had it, it says sorry, I was reading Bruce's note there. It says, presented to Pro Guitar Secrets. So I don't know where I'm going to hang it yet. I mean, I was thinking about hanging it over there behind that door. So I would have to open the door. Or close the door, sorry. Maybe here or something. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided where it's going to go. Like I said, I could have gold records on my walls. I could have platinum records on my walls. I've written songs on gold and platinum records. I've played on platinum records. I've played on Grammy records. I could have Grammy plaques, not Grammy awards. I've not won any Grammy awards, but I've been on. I've got Grammy nominations that I've been part of, and I don't have any of those. And I talk about that in the video that I made that I'll post this week. The official unboxing. That was the unofficial unboxing. And I just don't care about that stuff. There's a couple of reasons. One, it's like, those words aren't free. So the Recording Industry, Recording Industry Association of America, the RIAA, they're the ones that certify whether you actually played on something or not. Okay, so if your name's on the record, then they say, yeah, you played on it, you can get a gold record. But that's all they do. They don't send it to you. And you have to go out, you have to find a company that makes them. And, there's companies all over that, especially in LA, that make gold record plaques. And you've seen them on people's walls, or, you're watching an interview with someone and they're showing their gold records. Or they're all over studios and stuff like that. And it's good for promotion of work done. But I don't have people over, so I'm not like trying to impress anybody. I'm just trying to get work done in a day. And for me, it's looking backwards, and I'm always trying to look forward. So, and oftentimes those records that I played on, I may have only gotten paid $300 or something for that session. So it's downright embarrassing to pay $1,000 to have a gold record plaque made when I only made $300 for the session. I'm at a net loss on that gig. I mean, most of those sessions paid better than that, but sometimes it's that, you do gigs and you don't know a record's going to sell that much, or you don't know whatever, and you don't have any, there's no back end unless you wrote it. So that's why I like writing. We got bots. Good thing we have Dennis here. Joseph asked, I'm still working on the spread fingering. 3 full steps hurts, but I'm getting it. So you doing it, did you already teach that fingering technique? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by 3 full steps. 3 full steps. You mean whole steps? That would be, no. I wouldn't work. What was it that I did it on? We were talking about drop 2 chords and the voicings, like here's G major 7. And then if you want to do the next voicing, on piano, that's like that, it's like this. And then on piano, you go up to the next voicing and it's even easier. It's like tighter. But on guitar, that would be like, what was it? Yeah, it was this. Yeah, I can't even do it. Oh, wait. Yeah, so B, D, F sharp, G. Yeah, so if that's what you're talking about, you'll never need to know how to be able to do a stretch of 3 whole steps, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, you'll never need to know that. So don't worry about it. It's not, the whole point of drop 2 chords was so that you don't have to play that. These are all drop 2 G major 7 chords, and they're all a lot easier than all the others, the ones that piano players would do. Okay. Now, last week we talked about no, YouTube doesn't do anything like that. But Lena asked, does YouTube send anything if you reach 1,000 subscribers? No. If you have YouTube creator page, you have one whether you know it or not. If you have a YouTube account, exactly. Sam, thank you. Yeah, John, I'm not sure if that, I don't know what Joseph was referring to. Yeah, Joseph, you'll never have to. Yeah, I would never worry about that. So, Um, the sorry, what was I talking about? I got sidetracked with squirrel. But anyway, we were talking about what last week. We were talking about different meters, right? And those 4 meters right there are pretty much maybe in order. I don't know. I might put 6/8 ahead of 3/4. It just depends on when you drop the, what decade you drop yourself in. But different meters can have a completely different effect. Again, we're talking about songwriting. So we've been talking a lot about, I think a good word here is intuition. When you're writing a song, and Gary is not here yet, right? Gary's disappointed about the Packers. I thought Packers were going to go all the way. We're going to talk football. I know you're talking football in England, and I'm, other than Ted Lasso, I'm very unaware of football in England. I'm sorry. And I teach Cruz Beckham, David Beckham's son, guitar lessons. So actually, now I'm writing songs with him for his record. But and so I know David Beckham. I've met him many times in Victoria as well. And they're great parents, actually. Really, really nice family. Really good kids, nice family. Every time I was over there teaching a lesson, David was there, or Victoria was there, or both of them were there. They just didn't just travel around the world, leaving their kids with nannies. No. Their kids were their priority. It was pretty cool to see. And they're getting the benefits from it. All 4 of their kids are the nicest, most polite kids you'll ever meet. Harper is the sweetest little girl. That's their youngest. And Cruz needed new strings on a guitar. And so I brought some strings, because the strings on one of his guitars was just awful. So I brought some strings for it, and I said, I'll just change your strings for you. And Carper was like, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, "Sure." She's like 7 and got this British accent. Oh my gosh, so cute. So she just sits on my lap, and it would have taken me 5 minutes. It took 15, but it was a joy, because my kids are all grown, so I don't have that anymore. So it was really sweet. She was just like really into it. And she was like, "Oh, whining, adorable." Oh my gosh. So my wife is like, "Can't wait till my kids have kids." Okay. John Y asking, we're talking about meters. Okay. Those are meters. 4/4, 3/4, 6/8, 12/8 are meters. All right. John said, I don't know if you answered this, but is 12/8 implied 3-note triplets, 4 sets of them? Yeah, essentially that's right. 12/8, there's 2 ways you can think about 12/8. I mean, I showed you 2 different ways of strumming it. You can, so if I were to do 12/8, let's just do an E chord, keep it simple, okay? And if you think 1, 2, 3, it seems like a slow tempo, but when you're playing 12/8 over that, those are technically, I don't want to get too bogged down here, but those are technically the dotted quarter notes, okay? If you have 3 eighth notes, you add them together, that's equal to a dotted quarter note. The dot adds 50%. So 2 eighths equals 1/4, right? That's true in math, right? You understand that? 2 eighths equals 1/4. So we could take 4/4, right? And we could turn that into 8/8 if we wanted to. Like here's 4/4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could technically, I've never seen it written, but you could technically, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. You could technically count that as 8, okay, but you don't. So, but if we have a tempo like this, we think, okay, it's pretty slow. But when you subdivide that into triplets, it's da 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 da, right? So I got. Now notice I'm using all downstrokes. I'm just playing bottom 2 strings here. I'm playing 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th, 4th, 2nd. Do that. I'm just playing bottom 2 strings, open E string, and that's 12/8. Now the thing is, if I want to make it sound more like almost like a jazz swingy thing, I can get rid of the middle of each of those 3 eighth notes. So I'm making the opposite of a bad finger gesture. I can't do this. Okay, So we take that middle note and we get rid of it, and it sounds like this. Actually, it sounds like a blues. See that? Add it back in. And the way you might count this, John, you wouldn't want to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2. You don't want to do that. Generally, if you're going to count this, you might go 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3. But if you hollow it out, now with this particular riff, it sounds very bluesy, okay? But if I went more like a, and I might never do that rhythm on guitar, okay? That ba da da. But the drummer over here with his right hand on the ride cymbal might go the 1, 2, probably not that busy, but or some variation on that. Okay, so you can kind of imply a little bit of a jazz feel if you kind of get rid of that middle note in each of those triplets. The other thing is you could play, like you could be playing in 4/4. Watch this. I'm going to go. This is a compositional tool. Okay, so again, we're talking about songwriting. Here's a tool you can use. Triplet feels. I'm going to play. See if you can play. I'll go ahead and just do it on E chord. Keep it simple, okay? If I do 8 notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, I'm in 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and a. You can do. See, usually when you count, Sam, usually when somebody does 1 and a 2 and a 3, that's an 8th note with 2 16th notes. That's this rhythm. Triplet would be, so if you say it like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you're talking triplet. You could also go 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. You could say it like that. That might be a better way to think of it, because so often people go 1 and a 2 and a 3, and so if you get that in your head and you think that's a triplet, it's not. That's an 8th note with 2 16ths. Okay, that would be. That's that rhythm. You got a snowstorm. Oh, inch every 2 hours. Holy cow. I hope you have food and toilet paper. And hopefully the power doesn't go out. So, yeah, the buffer, did it buffer a little bit? I don't see it here. Okay. So again, we're back on the E chord, 8th note. Sorry, I'm doing triplets. Sorry. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And there's our chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our quarter notes. Hey, Charlie. So, and that Bonanza theme, I think, was played by Tommy Tedesco, by the way. Just a little side note. Okay, so. Now I can, let me put it on beat 4. Let me do a triplet, okay? So check this out. This will be 8th note triplets on beat 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and. I love the 3 against the 2 kind of thing. So I'm doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 triplet 1, 2 and 3 and 4 triplet 1. Exactly, John. Okay, now I could also do quarter note triplets. I don't know if you play. Let me play that again. You try to play along with me. I'll go a little slower. I'm all downstroke, because otherwise you'll turn yourself around. I'll go like this. Okay, so that would be written 8 notes, 2 8th notes, 2 8th notes, 2 8th notes, and a triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Sorry, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 triplet 1 and okay. Now I'm going to do what's called quarter note triplets, but we often refer to them as drag triplets. And again, these are a very cool tool to create drama and effect. And I might not just use it on one chord. It might be a situation where you use it on a descending chord progression. Like maybe if I'm doing something like that kind of thing, right? I fought the law and the law one. Is that right? So that would sound like this. So I'm going to go 1 and 2 and 3. Then I'm going to do 3 triplet quarter notes. So I'm going to do 3 quarter notes in the space of 2 quarter notes. Beats. The 2 quarter notes are beat 3 and 4. So that sounds like this. It's hard to do. You got to try to keep them even. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. 1 and 2, 3 and 1 and 2, 3 triplet 1. That's the hardest thing, is to not do like dun, 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 dun. You know, like make it like 2 dotted 8ths and an 8th note or something like that. You try to keep it real even. Okay, so like I was saying, you might use that in your song. If you're writing a song, you might use that. Those are the kind of things you want to save. You might, I mean, it could be your hook. So you could have a song that was, right? But it might be something where you go, your song is maybe this. And then one time you might, then if you save it, it's much more effective. And again, I love what Sting said when he was interviewed by Rick Beato, and that is that if a song doesn't surprise me in the first 8 bars, I'm not going to keep listening to it. And I think that's very true. I think there's something to that. You know, I always talk about having that. You know, it's got to have that special chord or something that like catches the ear. But if it doesn't, then maybe someone else, like when we're writing pop songs, you may have 4 people involved, 4 or 5 people involved. So maybe it's someone else's job to bring that element of surprise in or something of interest. Bach did it all the time. You know, was it? That right there. That might not have ever been done before when Bach wrote that. And so that would be the moment. And that was right about about the 8th bar of that song, you know. So it's those elements of surprise. So rhythm can be a source of surprise. You know, and like I said, I could have done it on one. It's a hard. Drag triplets are hard, or quarter note triplets. Anyway. Yeah, and a metronome would really help, Sam. That's always true. You could even program, you know, like a drum pattern or something if you wanted to have that rhythm in it and to practice it. It might take some programming knowledge for programming drums. Right now I have it set to 79. Can't see that. There it is. thank you, John. So yeah, so having a metronome doesn't hurt as far as that goes. You could just try to hear those triplets, the quarter note triplets. 3, bum, 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 bum. Try to make them as even as possible. Dun, 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 dun. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, John. It's like in an effort to eliminate squirrels, I do try. If someone asks me a question, I do try to relate it to I'm trying to stay on topic. I apologize. I get a lot of comments quite a bit like, you didn't talk about songwriting. It's like, well, yeah, if you came in at the last like 45 minutes of the video, I'm probably not talking about songwriting at all. Right now, we're just talking about musical tools, really, for songwriting. Excuse me. So in a way, John, or all of you, there are ways when I did the triplet at the end on beat 4. So we did so 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and oh wait, 1 and 3 and I'm putting a triplet 4 triplet 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 triplet 1 and 2. I mean, I don't know if I've ever done that before, but that's kind of a way of combining 4/4 with 12/8. I'm like, I have 3 beats of 4/4 and 1 beat of 12/8, but you don't have to think of it that way. That's too complex. Exactly. Accidents are good, Joseph. If you do, I was messing around with a song idea. I'm not going to play it because I'm working on it, but I hit a wrong chord and I went, oh, that actually is cool. Oops. And yay. So I said that. I mean, we talked about that early on. I'm like, you're trying to come up with a riff or a hook or something like that. Let's see, what was it? Was it this one? Yeah. Creating riffs, hooks, goof off, record goofing off, modify simple ideas, modify existing idea, just a piece of a jam. Just to record yourself jamming. And then you just never know. I wouldn't be surprised if songs like was a riff that was played in a solo. Maybe he that might have been a riff that he originally played over Stairway to Heaven and went, oh, that should be its own song, right? So part of it, that again, it's like this being in touch with your, I don't know, your feminine side, being in touch with that side of you that will hear something, okay? And that, being a listener, it's like, if you're just jamming and you're kind of like thinking about other things, you're probably not going to notice a beautiful accident when it happens, okay? And we could write a song called Beautiful Accident. That might be a good lyric, a good title for a song. I'm sure there's a song called Beautiful Accident. But it's just like, even I'll do like sometimes do weird tunings, and weird tunings will help me come up with new song ideas or new sounds. Like, for example, the Coldplay tuning, and I get so many comments saying that that's not the Coldplay tuning. That's not the tuning from Yellow. And that's why, because I wasn't sure. I had not seen anybody talk about it. I didn't even do any research on it. I just knew that when I took that E down to D sharp, right? So now I have E, A, D, G, B, D sharp. Sounds awful, right? But with the right chord shapes, it's an amazing sounding tuning. What Coldplay did was they also tuned the D string down to B. What Chris Martin did. But that's he did. I'm just taking an E chord. If I don't play the bottom string, I'm just taking an E shape here at the in open position, and that ends up being E major 7. And if I go up 2 frets, got a beautiful chord. It's an F sharp triad with a B and a D sharp in it. So you could really say that's an F sharp 4/6. And I like to put the bass in there. You could do that if you do this, like make a bar, F sharp bar, and then take the bar off and just have the bass note on there still. So I have the top 2 strings open here. Okay, so that tuning, and again, this isn't still in the context of songwriting. That tuning is E, A, D, G, B. I like to think of it as D sharp. You can think of it as E flat. I don't care. Whatever. I'm thinking of D sharp because I'm thinking I'm in the key of B. So, and so when you get up to here at the 7th fret and play this, or you can just play the shape here and avoid the bottom string if you want. Although the bottom string works, but it makes the song very E-centric. But you can mute it with your thumb or something, just go like this. That's a B chord. Isn't that crazy? Normally, if you had that open string up on top, it would be an E note. You'd have this kind of that sound. He does that. He goes back and forth. He goes a B to B sus. But really, he's going B to B4 because it has the 3rd and the 4th in it. That's what makes it a 4 chord. It's just a beautiful sound, right? So you could take that, you could use that tuning and write your own song out of it. I like playing the A chord too. I think the A chord sounds really good. So here's B. If I go down 2 frets, I get the A chord. So let's check it out. That's very Lydian sounding. That A, it's an A triad, but it's got a B and a D sharp in it. And that would be, if I were to play that scale, that would be A Lydian, which is the same as E major scale. Okay, the notes in A Lydian are identical to the notes in E major. You're just starting on an A, and consequently, if you play it over A, it has a very Lydian sound. But this is an E scale. Whoops. Right? But if I played over A, it sounds very Lydian. Right? Sam, let's see. Sam, it's interesting and fun to watch the Beatles goof off. Yes. Yeah, that, again, I think that was, for what, there were 2 things I noticed. One is that the 2 completely contradictory things I noticed about the Beatles watching that. And I don't think that was the case early. I think their sessions were much more shorter. Money was much tighter at the beginning. They weren't the Beatles yet. And George Martin was kind of whipping them. In fact, the Get Back sessions might have been the only sessions that were like that because it's the only one that wasn't produced by George Martin. He was there sometimes, and you can see him in the video, but he's not there as a taskmaster, right? But I have a feeling that didn't happen. I have a feeling that he stopped being the taskmaster after probably right around the time of Rubber Soul. I would say they probably. That was the beginning of their experimentations with lots of things. But there were 2 things I really noticed about watching that documentary. One was how hard they worked and how they treated it like a job. And then the opposite thing is how much they totally didn't treat it like a job. You know what I mean? Like, if you goofed off that much at work, you'd be fired. But they were the bosses. But they showed it, it was like 10 to 6 every day, 10 to 6, 10 to 6, 10 to 6 every day. It was, even on weekends sometimes, 5 days a week. I mean, they treated it like a go-to-work job. It's like, it's the ethic of their parents, right? It's the ethic of their parents' generation. And it was just like, well, of course you just go to work. I mean, it wasn't in their head that I'm going to be a rock star, so I can just goof off and I'll go in for an hour and do something, and then you guys figure it out and sell it and market it and make me a millionaire again, over again, 10 times over, or whatever. But yeah, I definitely uh, uh, but I definitely think that was a big takeaway for me about realization about the Beatles. And I always say that goofing off is actually when you're going to find those accidents that are like, oh, that's cool. I never would have played that before. What's one of the Beatles? Sexy Sadie, is that the one? Is it Sexy Sadie that Radiohead used for Paranoid Android? I'll do a little research. I think Paranoid Android is built around the Sexy Sadie progression, which is a really cool progression, but it was, let me pull it up real quick. It might sound cool with this tuning. Let's see. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, it's something like that. I think that's where they got. Let me Google that real quick. Sexy Sadie Radiohead, because I think that's kind. They make no, like, they're not pretending that they didn't steal it. Well. I think that's the song that they. Okay. It's not what I want. Oh yeah, Karma Police. Sorry, somebody say that. Somebody goes, no, you're thinking of Karma Police. Yeah, it's Radiohead kind of has. Karma Police has a bit where it sounds like Sexy Sadie, which is that progression. So, and it's actually, that's not an uncommon chord progression. It's very, I forget what the name of the cadence is, but I'm sure it's got a name. It's Hungarian Greek minor cadence or something. Okay, so let's see what we got. Do I have some questions here, Sam? That's what I'm trying to learn a song first, commit to memory so I can play it automatically when I go. Yeah, and John, we talked about that too with the Hendrix stuff. It's kind of like, when you get those tab books are so dangerous because they make you think you have to play every little thing. I remember looking at a tab book. I'm going to go back to standard tuning, but that's a great tuning. I have a video called the Coldplay tuning if you want to watch it. If you just go to my channel and enter Coldplay, it's the only video that, it's one of my most popular videos, but it's also hey, thanks, Selena. It's one of my most criticized videos because I get all these diehard Coldplay fans that say, yeah, because I've already changed it, but that say, oh, that's not the actual tuning for this. So the Hendrix thing, though, like, I remember looking at tab for Stevie Ray Vaughan, right? And whoever tabbed it, I mean, now it could be robots doing it. It might actually be easier. Well, yeah, easier if a robot does everything for me. But like, for example, okay, that's Stevie Ray Vaughan's song. I forget what song is that. Anybody know what that is? I forget. I love it because it's just an all-in-your-face, very rockabilly sounding, right? And it's devil may care right hand kind of stuff. Left hand is not devil may care. Left hand, he's getting notes, exactly what notes he wants, and deadening everything else. So it's quite the orchestration over here on the left hand. The right hand is just going for it, right? So you see the tab, like, I saw a tab for this. Okay, I kid you not. It was like, right? The E. Okay, that's great, E. But then it had X, 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 X. It was like, okay, so hit the E, but deaden the next 4 strings and don't hit the first string. How do I do that? Okay. Okay. And then it goes to the G sharp. Yeah, and on the upstroke, hit the open E and deaden the 5th, the 4th, and the 3rd string, and don't hit the 2nd and 1st string. No, that's impossible. Somebody's way overanalyzing, and is hearing. Okay, he's on this stroke. He's hitting the E string, but he's deadening the other strings. And what strings are deadened? It's like, who cares, right? And that's kind of my tip for John, for anyone that's trying to learn a song via the tabs. And it's one thing if you're looking at a tab and it's like, what is it? Whatever. If you're trying to learn a Chili Pepper song or something like that, yeah, the tab's gonna. Or if you're learning, but when the tab person, whoever that is, Joe Tabster, tabs out somebody who's playing with an intense amount of style. They're trying to insert the style in there, and it's more you just like I told John, and I, just learn the song, Start there, just learn. That's it. That's what is it? What is it? Whatever. But you just learn the song as a. In fact, what song was that? That's Voodoo Child. That is his song. All Along the Watchtower. If you learn that again, just learn the Dylan version. Learn the chord. Whatever the chord, I forget. All Along the Watchtower. Hey Gary, good to see you. Sorry about Green Bay. I was predicting them to win. As a LA resident, though, I know how surprising the 49ers can be. And they just, that game, I thought the weather would have been a huge advantage to I just think everybody was dropping the balls. I think, and you notice how it was like sinkers. The ball was so heavy that it would go, Aaron Rodgers' ball would just, and like that. And then you had no idea this was the case, but you had the best special teams team and the worst special teams team. And so it ended up ultimately being about special teams. Sorry. I watched a lot of football this weekend. Learn the song and then learn the style. Exactly. See, someone once shared with me, if you want to learn how to play like, for example, George Benson, learn his influences. And his influences were Charlie Christian, Django Reinhardt, and maybe a little bit of Wes Montgomery. Believe it or not, they were contemporaries. Wes was around in the 50s. George Benson was little Georgie Benson in the 60s, actually in the 50s. And he started having records. So he was a contemporary of Wes Montgomery's, but Charlie Christian predated him. He was really into Charlie Christian. He was really into Django Reinhardt. And so if you study those two guys, and it's not too hard to study Charlie Christian because he died very young and there's only so many recordings of him. He played with Benny Goodman, so you can pretty much, there's probably 20 or 30 recordings with Charlie Christian on. You can learn all of those, and I did. I have a book with all of his transcriptions, and I learned all the Charlie Christian songs, and that really I think helped and helped form and inform my effort to try to sound like George Benson, who at one point was very, that's true. Cold air is also a problem. Yep. And I don't know how you compensate for that as a quarterback, especially when, what a job, quarterback in the NFL. Oh, what'd you do at work? Yeah, I went to work and basically these 4 really big guys tried to kill me all day long. They just literally tried to pound me into the ground all day long. You imagine if I was sitting here playing guitar and all of a sudden 4 guys come into this room and tackle me? What a job. Holy cow. I mean, that's just the craziest thing. Yeah, I know Sam is feeling because Michigan lost. I mean, Sam, are you rooting for the Rams because Stafford's, maybe Stafford can get a ring? That would be kind of cool. I don't know. The Rams have such a hard time with the 49ers. I don't see them beating the 49ers, but we'll see. McVay's getting better every year as a coach. So we'll see. And the Rams have a pretty good team. I wish Robert Woods was back, but not yet. Not until next year. But Cooper Kupp is amazing. I think Cooper Kupp's since Aaron lost, I think Cooper Kupp's my choice. And Brady both lost. They both lost. There was a wild weekend. Other than the last night's game, which was a bummer because I wanted the Bills to beat the Chiefs because I can't stand the Chiefs. If the Bills had won, it'd been all 4 underdogs won the games that weekend. And I'm losing people here talking about NFL football, but I think Cooper Kupp's I think he should be the MVP because he got the triple crown. He got the most catches, the most yards, and the most touchdowns. Only 4 receivers have ever done that, including him. Yeah, it was amazing football this weekend. Really amazing games. Copyright, please. Because I'm playing a song. I don't think Aaron's going anywhere. Did he say today he was going somewhere? He's not going to go. He's not going to announce that this soon, is he? Yeah, I know. Yeah, Steve. Yeah, Stafford's probably ecstatic, and he's won 2 games in the playoffs. So the first one decisively. The second one, that was a good. Who did they beat? Brady, and Brady came back. That should never have been. I have coaching issues there, Anyway, sorry, talking about songwriting. Squirrel. Jeez. Okay, so the overarching thing here when we're talking about songwriting is inspiration. We're talking about art versus craft. And 90% of the time you're going to be dealing in craft, but then there's that moment where you got to come up with something. It's got to inspire you. It's got to excite you. It's got to have that thing. And Gary, I'm going to, where's Gary? Not Gary, Gary Schultz. I may even give you a call. You sent me your phone number. I may call you about your song that you posted. I don't want to go in here because there's some constructive criticisms. Okay. So it's not like, yeah, but I'm happy to do that. Oh, I see. Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah, the Rams gave up a lot to get Stafford. It's funny because they got a lot when my Redskins traded up to get RG3, Robert Griffin Jr. And I think the Redskins basically gave away the next 10 seasons of picks just to move from the 6th pick to the 2nd pick or something like that. It was crazy. And so the Rams got all those picks. And I think Goff was one of those picks. So let's talk about, I'm going to duplicate this screen. I'm going to duplicate the screen, and that way I'll, because I want to make some changes in this. All right. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of the meter thing. We can talk about, well, I'll reference meter. This I'm going to develop a little more. Let's just look at, let's start with the G Let's start with the most. Do I need? Yeah, I should put a space. The most basic of song chord progressions would be the most common chords are the 1, the 4, the 5, and the 6. And this would be the 50s. And that's a 1, 6, 4, 5, okay? Know that. 1, 6, 4, 5. All right. Let's put them in order. Let's go 1, 4. There we go. 1. So I'm going to get rid of that 1, 6, 4, 5, but I'm going to go 1, 4, 5, 6. Okay. You just memorize that. You don't need to know. Oh, yeah. I guess that's true. He did make the playoffs, and didn't he? They never won a game though, right? They had some pretty good teams. They had some good teams. Detroit, because they were always so bad. They always had so many good draft picks. Kids are all playing Wordle. Some people say Wordly, but I think it's Wordle. The word riddle, Wordle. Yeah, Stand By Me is a good one. Exactly, Stand By Me. So here's 1, 4, 5, 6. Let's do another. What's another? Let's keep G at the beginning. Let's go 1, 5. Boy, it's funny to say 5 and type D. Okay. I'm gonna just type out a bunch of variations. You can totally do this with a piece of paper. Okay, write out a bunch of variations. Let's flip now. Let's do the first one again, but we'll flip the last 2 chords. We'll have G, C, E minor, D. All right, and let's do it again, and let's flip. If we flip the middle 2 chords, we get the classic 50s one. Right. I flip the middle 2 chords of that 3rd progression. Now you could play this this could be your song right here. All of them. I mean, it would be really random, but every downbeat has every first chord is G. We haven't even gotten, so you can see how many variations there could be. And this is being super square and having, 4 beats of G, 4 beats of C, 4 beats of D, 4 beats of E. We could get rid of, just have 3 chords, G for 2 bars and C, D, or we could have G for 2 bars and C, E minor, that kind of thing. It's infinite, literally infinite, the possibilities. So, well, it's not infinite. Okay, I sit corrected. All right, what else can we do with this? What if we reverse the last 2? So we get G. Oh, G. Yeah, G. E minor. D. C. That's basically a different key, but that's basically song "Home to Mama" that I wrote with Justin Bieber. Well, actually, I wrote it with Sam Hook, and Justin Bieber recorded. Okay, we'll stop here for now. Okay, let's listen to these. I'm going to bring these so you can see them a little bit. Okay, can you see that better? This was a stocking stuffer this year at Christmas. Oh, thanks, Joseph. You bought me 2 coffees now. 3 coffees. Yeah, Jar Jar Binks, possibly one of the most racist characters in the Star Wars universe. Okay, so let's listen to these progressions, okay? 6th on the 5th on YouTube. My brain still hurts me. The 6th on the 5th. I saw an interesting video on, was it a music video? I love when the Dallas Cowboys lose. Spoken like a Redskin fan. All right, so I got to not bite that hangnail or else it'll get infected. Oh, the 6th on the 5th? No, I don't know if he's referring 6th of the 5th. The 6th of the 5th. Oh, yeah. Well, so what that might mean, Steve, is that might be what's called a minor sub. Okay, right, Sam? So we've talked about this. Okay, if we say wrote a song, so we're going to table this, okay? Say I wrote a song, you play along with me. G, C, E, to C. We did this before, but it's been a while. Okay? If I do a minor sub for G, I'm taking the sixth of the one chord. We're in the key of G, so that's the one chord. If I count up 6 scale tones from G, I get E. So if I make an E minor chord, that's a minor sub for G. It'll work every time in these with these 3 chords, with the G, C, and D. I'll show you. We've done this before, but so watch this. We're writing a song. Okay, I'll write a melody right now, and the minor sub, and you can go the other way. You can do a major sub. If you have a minor chord, you could count up two chord tones. If it's E minor, you count up 2, E, F sharp, G, and you get the major sub. You can do it the other way around as well. It's not as common to do it that way, but minor sub is a very common thing. So if I write a melody and it works over G, C, D, C, it'll work over E minor, C, D, C. Okay? Watch. Now I might want to save that, right? I might want to go again. I don't know. What was it? Okay, so that what did Sting say he likes to hear? He wants to hear some surprise. He wants something to surprise him. So that E minor represents a mild, modest surprise. Having that E minor chord in there really is different, but it works. But it changes the tone. If the song had been E minor from the beginning, it might have been a different kind of vibe. I might have done that. Do a B7 instead of a C to create the change that the surprising change that I might want to make the song, more enjoyable, more surprising at least. Anyway, all right. So, but in that corporation, we have 3 major chords, so I could do a minor sub for any of them. Here, listen to what happens when I do a minor sub for the C chord. So I'm going to go up the scale in C. 6 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I get A. So the minor sub for C is A minor. It's easier just to count backwards 3 notes. C, B, A. That's what I would do. Okay? And D, however you want to get to B, the minor sub for D major is B minor. Okay? So if I'd subbed all those chords out, so here's... that melody works fine over that. I might have to make an A minor 7, but it should work. Anything I do over G, C, D, C should work over E minor, A minor, B minor, A minor. So that's a really solid, strong. If that's what he was referring to, subbing various 7th chords with 6th chords. Oh, yeah, I love doing that. I prefer 6 chords in some ways. When I wrote Yellow Raincoat with Justin, that's a 7th. That's a 7th. That's a 6th. It's got such a great sound. I go 7 to 6. There's another 6 chord. Another 6 chord. It's been a while since I played it. I taught it to Dan. What's Dan's last name? Dang it. I taught it to Dan, Justin's guitar player at the time, and they kind of did it wrong. He got it. the parts right, but he didn't double up on the chorus. Like he went back to the verse and Justin kept singing the chorus over the verse. But it was fine. YouTube is a jazz. Oh, the YouTube channel is Jazz Library. First thing I learned from Barry Harris. Only 15 minutes. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll check that out. Thank you. Let me pull it up. Yeah, we haven't even talked about writing jazz songs. Oh, there it is, Barry. Jazz Library, there it is. So how many subscribers? Just 8,000. I'm just kidding. It's cool though. I love that kind of stuff. C to G to D is tricky in Norwegian wood. Trying to think of Norwegian. Oh. That's an amazing song too. Okay, so we have, you know, I'm sure it started with a riff, right? You think you're in D major and you turn, oh no, wait, you're in G. You're on the 5 chord. That makes, you know, you think, if a song were in D major, it might have gone. Something like that, right? Or you would go to A, G, which are the 5 and the 4 in the key of D. But what's crazy, it goes to D minor. So now we're technically in the key of C, or G Lydian. I think it goes to A major, then. So now we're back in D. D. That would be D Lydian. So yeah, I mean, again, they didn't think any of that. Okay? Just so you know, when John wrote that, right? That's a John song, is it not? When John wrote that, he wasn't going, well, I think I'll start out in D Mixolydian, and then I'll go to G Mixolydian, and then I'll set it up with the 5 of the, no. They're just playing until they find something that sounds good, okay? There was some knowledge there. Like he went, he's in D, right? And he went to C, but he, you know, if he didn't have any knowledge, he could have gone B flat to F sharp. No, he knew that worked, and maybe he tried B flat to F sharp. That was the first thing. You know, I always say, you know, like just try it, and then let your art be the, you know, let your right brain determine what your left brain. What is it? Dang it! No, where is it? Where did I do this? Right there. Is that it? No. There we go. So, yeah, you know, your left brain, you can go, I'll just try any random chord, and your right brain can determine if it works. Okay? So that's kind of, there we go. No, this is the one we're at. And so, but when G, so let's play, I'm going to play these progressions, and maybe I'll play each one twice or something, and we can kind of, and I'm only go. I'll do 2 beats of each chord. That's not a bad progression, right? That could be a starting progression for a song. You can always change the chords later, right? just like we did the minor subs, we sub the A minor for the C and the E minor for the G. You can always change out chords later after you've already written your melody, your words, everything. If you want to make the song more interesting, you can start to do those substitutions. You can do jazzier substitutions or weirder substitutions even. But you need some kind of foundation to get the whole thing going. It's like building a house. You want to dig that hole. You want to get that the foundational brickwork around whatchamacallit, cinder blocks. Get them going. And I didn't. Yeah. The crazy thing is that the capos they had back then were shite. It was amazing when I hear someone back then playing capo. I'm like, oh, it's worse. C dominant 7 being changed to G minor 6, yeah. Oh, yeah, so C dominant 7 being G6, the different triads, yeah. G6 is very common. They both have that tritone in it. I mean, a gypsy. The minor 6 is the chord. It's like gypsy jazz player's favorite chord. In the year 2525. I forgot about that song. I couldn't tell you how it goes. But is that what that chord progression was? So let's listen to the next chord progression and see, if you hear anything. I might do something like this. Start changing it up. Don't do the same thing over and over again. Change it up a little bit, make it a little interesting. But whatever, my brain immediately went, you know what? I don't want to go to E minor every time. I want to sit on C. So that's the kind of thing where I let the art kind of take over for the craft. The craft said, okay, here's the chord progression, and then my brain went, that's kind of boring. Let's change it up a little bit. Let's make it, I like this. Let's sit here and sit on this chord. I like that chord. That's the 4 chord. Let's sit on the 4 chord. Okay, next chord progression. G, C, E minor, D. Very common chord progression. And again, you can do this in any key. You just grab a capo and then you throw it on. Here's my G7. Throw my G7th on the 3rd fret. What was it? This is better in your voice. But also the nice thing about the capo is if you do a lot of songs in G or using G shapes, it kind of, if you're doing your show and you're playing your 10 original songs or whatever, if they're all in G, it's like, at least put the capo on and go to A flat every now and then, or if you can sing it, go to A or go to B flat if it's not too high. Maybe start there, write some songs with the capo on and using basic G shapes. Okay, so the next chord progression is the basic 50s. Million songs with this chord progression. Can't copyright a chord progression unless you're you can't sue for copyright infringement for a chord progression unless you're the relatives of what's his name? What's going on? Marvin Gaye. Those lazy people, they just want more money. They're greedy and they want more money, and they've never worked for a day in their lives. And no, careful, I gotta be careful. I don't want to slander anybody, but dang, those stupid lawsuits for people doing songs that even the Ed Sheeran one's not even close. I mean, I'm sorry, but you can't copyright. Because there literally, before Ed Sheeran did that, and after Marvin Gaye did it, there were probably 400 songs written and released on records that went. You can't copyright a drum beat. In fact, Marvin Gaye's was a different key. He went to the B minor, the minor 3 chord, not first version. So, but you know my opinion on that stuff. Okay, the next progression. Let's comment the 50s one. And that basically is, let's go through these, okay? Let's number these. Let's pretend like we're in Nashville and we're going to do a session and we want to change the key. So if we want to change the key, we put these all in numbers and we go, okay, G is 1, C is 4, D is 5, and E minor is 6. And that's pretty much will get you through most songs. So that first progression is a 1, 4, 5, 6, right? The next one is a 1, 5, 4, 6. The next one is a 1, 4, 6, 5. You should memorize all 4 of these just right now, boom, like that. The next one is 1, 6, 4, 5. That's the 50s one. A billion songs are written with that progression, 1, 6, 4, 5. And then you have a 1, 6, 5, 4. Okay, now if I were to transpose that 1, 6, 5, 4, let's say to D, then I would play D would be the 1, the 6 is B minor, the 5 is A, and the 4 is G. Okay, and that's the chord progression for. I keep quoting myself, but Home to Mama. Basically, I'm just doing D to B minor, A to G, but I'm actually doing like a G2 no third. This is real simple. I was doing stuff like that, just having fun with it. Okay. Guitar Luther or Denny Zager, who sells guitars from his. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. That song 2525. I mean, it probably still gets used in commercials and in movies. I don't hear it on the radio. I haven't heard it on the radio in 20 years, at least. Although I remember I met. It's just if you're you're watching my songwriting live stream topic thing here. My button's not buttoned, so I can scratch my belly. That's a Cheers reference. And my it's like, did I just roll out of bed? It totally looked like I just pretty much did just roll out of bed. Yeah, thanks for the likes. How many people? I'm not paying attention to how many people we have. Oh, not bad. Hey, everybody. And thanks for the coin, Lena and Joseph and John. Thank you for supporting this channel. I love doing this, but it definitely, my goal is to make a living, and I definitely can kind of justify doing more if I'm making money at it. That's true for everybody. So the song 2525, and I don't even remember how it goes, but it seems like it's a fairly long song too, right? Very 60s, and I may be wrong. I don't know if there's a place you can find out like how much revenue a song or how many times a song's been played or whatever. But I was at a guitar store in Hollywood 20 years ago. And I was just staying, and I started talking to this guy, and there was 2 guys talking. We were looking at guitars, and I said, "Oh, what do you do?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm a songwriter." And oh, cool, And have you written anything I know? And his buddy said, "Oh yeah, he wrote Physical by Olivia Newton-John." And this would have been like 2000, 2001 maybe. And that song came out in like 81, 82. I remember that Steve Lukather had a guitar solo on it. And so I asked him, it had been about 20 years since that song came out. And we were starting to hear a lot, songs get passe and then they come back, right? So like in the 90s on a lot of radio stations, they wouldn't play any 80s songs. It was like passe. But in the 2000s, they started playing 80s songs. Just like in the 90s, they were playing 70 songs, and in the 80s, they were playing 60 songs. I mean, how many artists of the 80s were send-ups to the 50s and 60s? When I was a kid growing up and going to high school, junior high in the 70s, we used to have 50s days, right? The girls would wear the poodle skirts, and the guys would wear T-shirts and put like candy cigarettes in the sleeves, grease their hair back, you know. And it was just fun, but it was kind of like reliving your parents' generation, right? Their youth. And I said to this guy who wrote the song "Physical," and there's a huge lesson here for you if you're an aspiring songwriter. I said, just out of curiosity, when that song came out, did you make a lot of money and then it dropped for a while because it wasn't being played on the radio, and now that the 80s is kind of coming back here in the 2000s? Did it get a lot of spins then, you know, start making money again? And he said, no. He said, that song has been making money solid ever since it came out. I said, really? He said, yeah, every gym in the country uses it in their ads. And I went, oh my gosh, you're right. They would totally do that, wouldn't they? You know, you may have some, you know, greater New York area gym company that has maybe 20 gyms and they're advertising on the radio. It's like, let's get physical. I'm not going to dance. And I was like, you know, that's brilliant. It's kind of like, why did, you know, Stevie Wonder, you know, who's a great songwriter, you know, that's why I called to say I love you. He called, you know, he did that because he was hoping that AT&T would totally use that in their ads. You know, I called to say I love you. That's just like, is that who wrote Let's Get Physical? That's who I talked to then. I didn't even ask his name. We just talked about music. And like I said, it was basically Toto on the track. I think it was Lukather and Jeff Beccaro on drums, if I'm not mistaken. So, so you can, if you're gonna write a song, if you're looking for a theme or something like that, you could pick something that might be, you know, if you wrote the next Happy Birthday song, you can retire. You can retire well. If you were to write a replacement for Happy Birthday, or you know, Valentine's Day or a Christmas song or whatever. I mean, there are people that have made, you know, Mary Did You Know, the writers for that, they don't have to work again. That song gets so many spins and everything. So, but 2525, you know, and you can, I'll look it up in the Wikipedia because it'll say references at the bottom there. So if I go to Wiki, 2525 song. No, stop. Oh, glitchy. No, not 2 plus 2. In here, oh, there it is. 1969 hit song by American pop stars Zager and Evans. Yeah. Rick's. Oh, you're talking about, okay. You're talking about 2525. I thought you were talking about Let's Get Physical. Let's see. Personnel. Don't know any of these people. Tommy Alsop was one of the producers. Okay. So if I scroll down here, list of one-hit wonders in the U.S. Funny. I'm not seeing. Oh wait, you know where it might be is if I looked up like which name is the weirdest name? Zager. Zager and Evans. Let's see if I go Zager and Evans. Copy that. Go to IMDb and enter it and see. It's the only song that the one-hit wonder. It's the only song that'll show up. Let's see if it's centric. Okay. So again, being that was the song, it has 7 credits. Best Possible Taste of Kenny Everett Story. Atop the Fourth Wall, never heard of it. Gentlemen Broncos, never heard of it. 1968 Tunnel Rats, never heard of it. Millennium TV series, Small Faces Music Scene, never heard of any of those shows. So, Music Scene they performed it. That was 1969. But in 95, Small Faces, I have no idea what. I know, let's see. It's a movie, rated R. Looks like a slasher film. I probably don't want to see any more pictures from it. Looks like many of the actors that were in it are so. IMDb is so fascinating, isn't it? You can look up these people and go, "Oh my gosh, he was in that," you know, or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't look like it appeared in a lot of movies. So you know, and that also has a kind of a diminishing returns kind of thing. You know, if I work on a TV show, the next year I may get, you know, $400 in residuals, and the next year I might get $200, and the next year $100, and the next year $50, next year $25, next year $12, and next year $5, and next year $2, next year $1. So it definitely, if you're, that's why you want to keep doing those things, you know, opportunities. Just having one isn't enough to live on unless it's, you know, you write Mary, did you know? Or something to that effect. That window. So yeah, and you know the thing is, you know, to sit down and try to craft a song that's going to sell millions is generally, I mean, I don't know. I've been to sessions where everybody in there is a hit writer, and we're all collaborating, and the goal is to write another hit. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of hits out there that were done that way. I think the hardest, as a songwriter, producer, the hardest thing to do is to get your first hit. Okay? Get your first hit. That's the hardest thing to do. As an artist, the hardest thing to do is to get that second hit. I have friends, they're in a band called Capital Cities, and they had a smash with, oh, what was the name of that song? Capital Cities. Oh, Put Your Hand in the Hand. Yeah, that one, you know, that one had legs too. Let's see. Safe and Sound. They had a huge hit. Safe and Sound, probably, gosh, was when Alex's band was getting signed. It would have been like 2012 or something. And in LA, we have like there's two pop stations, top 40 stations. There's Star 98, which is kind of a little bit of everything, but new music for the most part. And then there's K-Rock, which was alternative music, particularly in the 80s. It was they launched a lot of bands like Duran Duran and Elvis Costello. People that nobody had ever heard of America got their start on, you know, before MTV, they were played on K-Rock in LA. Safe and Sound was number one on all three of those stations. Okay, the kind of the top 40, and I think Mazda used it as a commercial. I remember the first time I heard it was being played in a live venue over the PA system before a band went up, and that's not the first time I heard it. I heard it when they recorded it because I'm friends with them, but I heard it it was being played over a PA system, and K-Rock was broadcasting live, and I went, "Oh my gosh, that's safe, and that's Capital Cities." I was like, "Oh, cool!" It wasn't being played on the radio, but it was being played at a venue where they were reporting live from that venue on K-Rock. And next thing you know, K-Rock started playing it, and then the top 40 station played it, and then Star 88 was playing it. All three of them were playing it, and so that was pretty impressive to have one song played over three different. It has a trumpet line. Bum, dun, 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 dun. They're Armenian. They're from Glendale, and so yeah, it's. I wish I could. I can't think of the horn line offhand. I can hear it, but oh, thank you, Bruce. Oh yeah, no. George Harrison, ultimately, I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that he was probably the best writer of the three, but early on he wasn't, and so basically he got to study for years, for 12 years with the two of the best writers in the history of the world. And then, but his songs, like, and his early songs were always kind of the weakest songs on the record. But then at the end, man, probably the best Beatles song is Something. Something is probably the best. I just did a video. I don't know if you guys saw it. I released it last week, Friday, I think. But I released a video. My favorite Beatles song, and it's Yesterday. And actually, it's really a Paul McCartney song. No Beatles on it. It had nothing to do with it. In fact, they wanted to release it, but Paul didn't let them. He wanted to release it as a Paul McCartney song. But it went to #1 in the States. They didn't release it as a single in the UK because Paul was embarrassed. Not so much that it was a solo thing, but he was embarrassed because it was not rock and roll, which is kind of what they were known for. So, and that's what they were thinking they were. You know, they're pop, but they're thinking rock and roll. They're thinking, you know, what they were doing. But but probably the best Beatles song, and that's an argument. You know, you'd probably do video. I could do a video on my top 10 top 10 best Beatles songs. Still would be a tough list to come up with. But some people would say that Something is the best Beatles song. And if you did a bit best of like Beatles top 10 list, you might have 3 or 4 George Harrison songs on it. Seriously, like Here Comes the Sun. It's a great song. While My Guitar Gently Weeps. I'm sorry, but those are great songs. And they have legs. They're still getting played on the radio, you know. Love Me Do, not so much. You get to a certain point, they really stop playing it. I mean, so, yeah, My Sweet Lord was plagiarized. So he actually ended up having given up the royalties on that one. And money. And I really, really, really don't know how somebody didn't notice that. There were a lot of people involved in that song, and how somebody didn't go, yeah, My Sweet Lord he's so fine. So there you go. Oh, yeah, it has a tension chord. I just did a session for, I don't know what it was for. It may have been for an infomercial or commercial, but it was a redo of We Are Family by, actually was written by Niles Rodgers. And that we it's a great chord. So it's a surprise chord, and it's almost the entire song is done with that. It's A to G to D, and then it goes to F over G. And so the way I'm playing that, one way to play it, I'm taking an F triad, okay? So here's D, D sharp or E flat, E, here's F, and then I'm just putting this note on the bottom. So I'm barring top 4 strings at the 5th fret, and then adding my second finger on the 2nd string, right, 1 fret above. So it's 5, 5, 6, 6. And that's an F over G, F/G. Yeah, no, George had, in fact, when he did, I mean, I won't say that every song on All Things Must Pass is great. It's a triple album, but it was like, man, he had a backlog of songs that he wanted to release. He even did some of them in Get Back. If you haven't watched Get Back, you can hear George kind of playing his songs. I can only imagine he's playing them, like pitching them like, hey, we should do this one. And, you know, on the rooftop concert, they didn't do any of George's songs. So, you know, yeah, it's fine. I'm not sure what George's songs on Let It Be. Which songs were his? I Need Mine was his, right? I need mine, I need mine, I need mine. It's a great song. Wow, it's like, yeah, I Mean Mine's a really, really good song. And that, you know, you could go through and just go through all the Beatles songs. And I have this, which is really cool. it's the complete Beatles score. So it has all of the guitar parts, bass parts, string parts, everything of all the Beatles songs. So some of the songs are pages and pages long because they have a lot of instruments on it. And the print's really small. But it's really cool to see what the strings are doing. You know, see, like this song here is a bar of 5/4. What song is this? Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, 67. This was from Sgt. Pepper's, right? Good Morning's on Sgt. Pepper's. So yeah, it has all the songs, every song on here, the complete scores, and all the guitar parts. And they're not exactly right. They're close, but I don't know. I think that was like 60 or 70 bucks. But it's a great little reference thing. Oops. If you want, you know, you need something, some kind of reference, like, oh, you know, I'd really like to look at these chord progressions. It's not the most convenient because it's giant and it's multiple pages. So for playing guitar, it's not like the one you want to do. You might want, yeah, exactly. Bring your microscope. You might want. I mean, there's a PDF version that's floating around. You can probably download if you want. I'm not gonna link to it. But there's you can just find, you know, lyric sheets with the chords on it of Beatles songs and strum through them and kind of see how they used chords and how they, you know, constantly putting in different. I mean, what? So, close your eyes. No, was he? Oh, I mean, that's an early Lennon McCartney song, All My Love. It's a really, really good chord progression. F sharp minor, B7 to my E to E, C sharp minor. Such the movement, just if you pay attention to like the way they're playing it on the guitar with the little, it's 12/8, right? Well, actually, what is that? 1 2 you might be able 1 2 3 1 2. What would you count that? Oh, well, let's see what the book says. Let's see what it's probably just 4/4, but like with a triplet on top. So it's alphabetical, so it's we at the front here. All together now. All My Lovin'. Yeah, they just put it in 4/4. Common time. Another way to say 4/4. Yeah, but F sharp minor, B, E, C sharp minor. So right there, you're in the key of E. You start on the 2 chord, okay, which I didn't include in our list here. And I'm telling you, these are the chords that are the most common. And then the Beatles, you know, All My Love and early song starts on the 2 chord, and I didn't give you that one. Okay, 2 5 1 6 4 2, and then major flat 7, the D chord, and then it goes to the 5 chord, which is there's a D in the D chord and there's a D sharp in the B chord, actually 7, and then same thing again. Okay, it does that again. And then the All My Lovin' is C minor, and then C minor over C, and then and then E, which is freaking, again, All My Lovin'. Basically, they're going, right? You have little C sharp minor, and C sharp minor over C is one way to think of it. It's also a C major augmented chord, and then an E flat. I'm sorry, E major. A little E major diamond. Try it. All my love. But see, the Beatles have been analyzed after the fact. They were just, you know, he's just going, oh, he probably had done that on like C. He'd probably done that a million times. I thought, well, I'll just go down and have Oh no, that's wrong. That sounds weird. No, that's brilliant, bloody brilliant. Oh right, you know that was clear. That was at the time where John and Paul were literally like trying to be Rodgers and Hammerstein. They just wanted to be songwriters. You know that they actually had a hit before the Beatles with an artist. Cilla Black had a kind of hit. It was top 40, I think, got to 17 or 37 or something like that. But they actually had a hit with somebody before and they wrote songs for the Rolling Stones too, right? What song did they write for the Rolling Stones? Tumbling Tom's Pro Guitar Secrets. Or whatever they do on that. It's so fun. That's one of my favorite maybe my favorite early Beatles song. And again, that D chord, which is out of the key of E, is the surprise chord. Is the thing that Sting was talking to Rick Beato about. You know, it's that chord that makes you go, wait, what? And that's the moment you're hunting for. Now you can go crazy with that kind of stuff, and if you overdo it, like that element of surprise. What if you're gonna do it? Okay, you've got this list of things, right? All right. Don't make that. Here's the chords here. Don't make that element of surprise in every one of your songs. In this part, it could be in the lyrics. That's always fun to make the element of surprise be in the lyrics. It could be in the melody. One of the current hits right now from just about 6 months ago is "Stay" by the Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber's on it. But it's that one. It's I don't know if you've heard it, but it's like. It's a great hook. Charlie Puth wrote it, and it's a very 80s sounding hook. And then it goes. That's the melody. That's what he sings. It's like, wow. When he does that, you're like, okay, that's a hit. As soon as first time I heard it, I went, oh yeah, okay, forget it. Just put it up on number one. It's already and the track, of course, is immaculately produced and mixed by my friend Josh Goodwin, who's the best engineer in the world right now. Top guy in the world, just unbelievable. So good at what he does. It always has been, but just really on point. And Josh and I have written many songs together. Obladi, Capo 3, G, D, D7, C, G7, E minor. Interesting. Yeah. Obladi's, well, and like, Here, There, and Everywhere is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Is it C, D minor, E minor, F major, excuse me. So we're just dealing with here in this chord progressions down here. We're dealing with, we've talked about so many things. We even talked about the Nashville numbering system, right? I need to do a video on that. I mean, there's really good videos on it. I mean, we can talk about it here. But what that is, the Nashville numbering system, and it's the reason it's common in Nashville is because, well, I need my guitar for this, but because one of the, especially if you're a new musician in Nashville, if you're lucky to get a gig, I mean, it's so hard. There's so much competition for session work there. But if you're able to get any session work at all, it's probably going to be demo gigs, song demo gigs, song demo sessions. And you'll get, I don't know, maybe they'll pay you $300 for 3 hours, maybe. You might get 150, you might get $50 an hour. I'm not sure. I mean, it just depends. But the thing is, what they do is they literally will do 12 songs in an hour. So that's one every 5 minutes. And so they got a acoustic guitar player, they got an electric guitar player, they may have a pedal steel player, they have a drummer and a bass player and a piano player, And the piano player is usually the guy that did the charts, and then they'll have singers. And here's it's just funny. Now this is seriously old school. There used to be like little ads in the back of comic books or in the back of magazines, Life Mag or whatever, in the back of magazine, Mad Mag. I don't know, probably not Mad Magazine, but in the back of magazines, send your song in and we'll record it for you, right? And they would literally just get people sending them lyrics. They didn't write chords or melody or anything like that, right? So they just have a bunch of singers in a room, and a friend of mine played me some of the most hilarious ones. And it's almost hard for them not to laugh when they're doing these, but they just will sing through 12 of these in an hour, and the singer will pick the key, and the singer will say, let's do this in A. Okay. And the chart's written in numbers. It'll say 1, 4, 5, 6. So 1. Once 4, 5, 6 in the key of A. You just know that this is the 1 chord, and this is the 4 chord, this is the 5 chord, this is the 6 chord. So they just know all the numbers. They memorize all the songs or all the chords and with the different. They just learn all the keys. It's kind of that simple. Hey, Michael, what's going on? Michael Neal. Dennis is here. Sam, I do think there was a lot of that too. Paul said there's a lot of that, and they also listen to a lot of American R&B. Paul said we nicked from the best, which means we stole from the best. So it was a perfect storm. The Beatles thing. I want to do a video on that. Can it be replicated? It can't be, but I want to talk about the perfect storm that happened that helped create the Beatles. But yeah, so if you're in the key of C, then in the song is 1, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6, then it's C, F, G, A minor. Musicians don't even think twice. Boom, they're just like immediately. All they need are the numbers and the key. And it may have some rhythmic notation, and then they'll pull up the next one. So the piano player is probably the guy that did all the charts for these songs, and so he makes extra. And these people may have paid $100 to have their song professionally demoed, or $300. So if you multiply 300 times, but you've got the studio, you got to pay the drummer, you got to pay all the musicians, the singers. So ultimately, there's probably one person that's making half of the money, but then everybody else is splitting the other half. It's just demo sessions. And that is a huge part of the Nashville studio scene. And because it's the songwriting town, and everybody in the world, sometimes, they think they're songwriters. So, but yeah, if you're going to have surprise, it could come in the arrangement. That's one of the things I like to do too, or I recommend, is if you're going to do a song and you've got, let's say we've got a song and you're doing what would be a good, what was that one? G, C, E minor, G. Okay, I'm going to double that, so it's going to be a bar of G. Okay, and then that's the verse, and let's say the G is, the chorus is same chords, but just with free falling or something. It sounds like free falling a little bit. So let's say that's the chorus. All right. So the first time you go to the chorus from the verse, you play just normal. It's a bar of G, to C, and as long as the lyrics, then it goes. Right. So I went verse to chorus. The next time, maybe if the lyrics and the melody allow it, you do, instead of 4 beats of D at the end of that phrase, right? 4 beats of G, 4 beats of C, 4 beats of E minor, 4 beats of D. You just do 2 beats. so you get to the chorus faster. And that's a way of using arrangement to bring in an element of surprise. Something as simple as that. So check it out. The first chorus, the first time we go to the chorus, it might be, like I said, be. Okay, now we're going back to the verse. Go back in the second verse, sing, maybe there are more instruments involved, so it's a little fuller. Maybe a harmony or something. Oh, yeah. But here, two beats. Okay, so that verse went just 2 beats of D before going to the chorus. Right here. And that's a surprise, right? Might make some people trip over themselves if they're dancing to it. So is Holly here? Holly, you're here. Okay. Holly, you want to host this? Do you want to host the Zoom thing? Somebody said, now this is going to jack up Dennis. Oh, you've been since the start of the stream. Sorry, Dennis. I didn't see. Well, no, I guess you did take care of. I forgot. You did take care of something. I don't know. For some reason, I thought you weren't going to be. It was the last 2 weeks that you weren't going to be able to make it. I'm glad you're working hard, though. Hope you got paid for it. Somebody said, "Can we do it at night?" So, so that would, and for Holly and I, that would be like, if we were doing it at night on the East Coast, that we're looking at, like maybe 5 o'clock our time. Somebody who was it that requested? Do you remember, Holly? Requested that we try to do it like later so that they can, because I think they can watch me, but they can't necessarily jump in. But if we do it too late, then Europe, nobody from Europe, from England or anything will be able to join us. Oh, you don't have a paid Zoom account. Okay, it's fine. I don't think there's a limit to how many people I can have, is there? I know there's a time limit. We might be limited to 40 minutes or something. And that's fine. I wouldn't want to go much longer than that. I didn't know Daryl Hannah directed. That's cool. Oh, John, why? You're right. You're right, Bruce. John was the one that requested it. And so 8 o'clock, I think he's on Eastern time. He's in Louisville. I think Louisville's Eastern time. So if he's on Eastern time, then that means 8 o'clock his time will be 5 o'clock our time. And Joseph, I think you were part of those. We've only done one Zoom. Yeah, 6 o'clock. Yeah. So if we went to 5 o'clock, that would basically be Dennis waking up to me to the Zoom. You'd have to wake up. You'd have to get up at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning that would be pretty brutal. Yeah, I don't think John's still here. I haven't seen him post in a minute. He is one of the better, greater contributors to the channel. So there's that. But I wonder if we did 5 o'clock his time, which would be 2 o'clock our time, that would be good because that would be before Beth gets home from work, which is good. Once she's home from work, I kind of want to hang out with her. If she'll have me. Can you imagine being married to this? I know Bruce is. Bruce is imagining it. I don't know. What do you think? Opinions, Dennis. If we went, dang it, if yeah, again, it's going to be maybe 40 minutes, or if we can go longer, we will. But I'm not paying to go long. I'm not going to get paid. Neil Young lives out here. Well, he lives in Central Coast. A friend of mine sees him all the time. Neil Young at the store. You men. John took a work. Like, yeah. Yeah, you and John were at the last Zoom meeting. But when did we do it? I mean, we could go as late as 2, but 2 o'clock, let's see, 5. That would put it at 11 o'clock your time, Dennis. Do you stay up that late? She is an angel. She puts up with this. Hey, what day? Pepper's in the house. I'm thinking Thursday. Not Friday. Friday's tough. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And hopefully, well, again, if it's only 40 minutes, I can squeeze it in, even if I have something I have to do. Right today, I'm just working on my stuff, so I don't have, as far as I know. I mean, I'm looking. Oh, I got the texts are, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so if it were this Thursday, so what do? I post it on Discord, right? So I post a link on Discord. Is that what we did? So if I create, let's see. I'm opening the app. Sign in. Oh. Oh, I'll just sign in with Google. Okay. All right, see if I can schedule. Okay, new meeting, schedule. Okay. Tom Strahle Zoom meeting. Date and time, there we go. Okay, so date, let's say the 27th at 2 p.m. my time to, when are they going to let me do? I'll say 3 p.m. Here's a 40-minute time. Okay. All right, so it definitely says, All right, so where's the invite link? Advanced options. No. Personal meeting ID. Generate automatically. Meeting ID. Okay. So there's a passcode. Let me save this. Sorry, I'm just kind of learning this as I go. Allow access and will be able to. Okay. I got a passcode. So is that all you need is a passcode? So if you log into Zoom, you can do this passcode? Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay, cool. No, that's a maps. Weird. Here, join. Okay, here, this must be it. Well, but how do I copy that link? Weird. Huh. Okay. So how do I? That's weird. All right, so I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this to turn on computer audio, turn on screen. Okay, start video. Okay. All right. That's not. Oh. new meeting. No, I don't want that. I want this meeting. So weird. I've got a thing. Okay, Holly's probably yelling at me right now. Oh, do this, do that. Give me a... Hey, Dusan, good to see you. Okay, well let me do some work on this, and I'll try to figure out. Yeah, Thursday at 2 is what I'm thinking. That way, you know, people on the East Coast can, you know, 23 would be fine for me here. 2300. I'm not sure when that is for us. But you'll have to be at the You'll have to be on the Discord. So if you're not on Discord, you won't be able to get the link. So you have to join. Oh, I didn't. Hey, nobody told me to post the Discord link. Here's the Discord link. So you're gonna have to go here, and I'll put it in the announcements, maybe. Okay. Let me pin this. AJ, what's going on? Oh, dang. Okay, you'll be fine, AJ. Lord, we lift up AJ. We pray that you give great skill and wisdom to his doctors. Amen. Yes, 2300 is 11 p.m. Pacific. Okay. Oh, 11 p.m. Pacific. Oh, no, I know what 2300 is, but he's in Mambo. Mamba's in, I think, India. So I have no idea what. Oh, you said, okay, Bruce, sorry. Let me go back and find you what you said. I'll also post link in different channels so all will see it. Okay, okay. Let me figure out what the link is for this, because I'm trying to figure out what. Here, it's in my Google Calendar. Okay, I see it here. Join the meeting. There's a link here, but well, let me see if I can I think this is the complete link. Let me copy this. So I set this for Thursday at 2 p.m. Hopefully I remember, because I have to launch it. So I'm going to put it over here in the Discord under announcements, right under Holly's announcement that I'm live. Okay, so there it is. Join our. Okay, so that looked right. So we'll see, and I will set an alarm for that day. Hold on a second. Watch me pull up my calendar and go, oh shoot, no, I can't do it. If that's the case, I'll delete this and we'll start again. But I think Thursday's good. Yeah, Thursday's open. So I said 2 p.m., right? Yeah, 2 p.m. All right. Zoom. All right. No, just that. And then alert. I'm going to do 20 minutes before. I'm going to do another alert 30 minutes before. I'm going to do 1 hour before. Hopefully that. If I'm not at home, that gives me enough time to get home. All right. If I happen to go to the Starbucks, well, I'm not going to go to Starbucks at 2 in the afternoon, so there's no worry there. Okay, so I guess keep that. All right, so I'm going to sign off. But yeah, there was, we kind of talked about a lot of different things. Also, I wouldn't mind if you guys want to give me some suggestions. I'm always looking for ideas for videos or series. Again, I don't teach songs, although I just did yesterday, but I did an end around, and I was a little worried when I uploaded that video. I was like, is it going to give me a copyright strike? And it did not. So, which is funny because my jam tracks, which have no melody on they get copyright strikes, and I have to dispute those every single time I upload a jam track, which it takes a month from the point of creating the jam track to the point of being able to post it, go live with it. It takes a month, and it drives me crazy because I have to get 30 days before these stupid bots that try to claim it was theirs. Oh yeah, I'm not a beach person. I don't like suntan lotion on my hands or oil, or I don't like sand. Yeah. Yes, I saw that. Yeah, they're not requiring vaccines. Sadly, I was talking to one of the girls that always helps me there, and she already got hers. So I said, "Oh, well, that's a bummer. You didn't have to." And she had COVID too. So it's like, No. Sam said, I saw a 7-year-old Russian girl on YouTube play the balalaika like Eddie Van Halen. Yeah, people are always sending me these videos of kids doing amazing things, and it's like, a lot of people. There are a lot of people that can do more amazing things than me on guitar. I don't dispute that at all. The hard part about playing guitar is playing guitar for a living. That's the hard part. Turning that into a career, that's the difficult part. And, the 7-year-old girl pretty soon is 27, and it's not very impressive to be playing balalaika like Eddie Van Halen when you're 27. So, yeah. Let's see what else is. So at this point, Thursday, 2 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock on the East Coast. Sorry, that's going to be pretty late for you, Dennis. Because of night shift this week, I work from 5 noon till about 5 in the morning. Dang it. Okay. You're never able to watch while you're at work, right? Because you're a heart surgeon, right? So you can't be watching me while you're doing brain surgery. I don't know what you do. I forget. Yeah, that's a sad thing about COVID. I have a friend, very, very good guitar player, Ramon Stagnaro. He's just got intubated. And he's overweight, a smoker, and it's like, he had been struggling to breathe for 3 weeks. So when you get it serious, you get it serious. He'd been struggling to breathe for 3 weeks. I mean, and so think about that. I remember when my dad passed away, and he had ultimately lung cancer. His lungs filled with water. He had throat cancer and salivary gland cancer, so from smoking for many, many years. So don't smoke. Can an iPad do Zoom call? Yeah. You might have to download the Zoom app for iPad, but yeah, 100%. And it doesn't cost anything; it's free. Ultimately, his lungs just fill, and that's why they give people that are dying. Most people die when you die in a hospital. A lot of times, you're dying with pneumonia or something. That's the ultimate cause of death, and heart failure. But that's why they give you morphine, just to get rid of the fear. So Ramon has been dealing with, because he's been in a hospital now for a while with COVID, because his lungs, he's not been able to breathe. He's been able to get enough oxygen, but just because you're getting enough oxygen, the fact that you're having a hard time breathing creates that panic. And so that's what morphine gets rid of. But they only do that if you're dying, and they don't want you to be afraid while you die. But that's what he's been dealing with for 3 weeks. And so when they put him on the intubator, they said, well, we could wait. He said, no, just do it. He was like ready to go. Because he was so tired all of us can imagine that, of being so tired of the pain or so tired of whatever that I'm done, I'm out. So we've been praying for Ramon. You can lift him up as well. And when they intubated someone 2 years ago, there was a 90% chance you were going to die. Now that's down to below 50%. It's less likely. They know more what they're doing. They got more therapeutics going on, stuff like that. So yeah, the anxiety is horrible when you're suffocating. So that's essentially what's happening. But so you can be praying for Ramon Signaro, phenomenal guitar player, really great at the Latin stuff. We've worked on a lot of records together. We've worked on what's the shoot, I can think of his name now. But anyway, we did some Spanish, Mexican record, pop records, stuff like that together. So yeah, once you're on morphine drip, that's the end basically. They're not concerned about addiction at that point. So lessons on how the use of the modes. Okay, yeah, I was thinking about doing some of those little. Yeah, let's see my Rick Beato lessons. I was thinking about doing. Because we've talked about the modes. It was the first thing we talked about, right? Isn't that the first thing I did? I'm thinking about doing some mini little TikTok. Remember, TikTok videos can only be a minute long. Well, now they can be longer. So that's cool. But I'm basically going to keep them to a minute. So I'm thinking about doing some TikTok videos on modes. So we'll see if those do well or not. The one TikTok video, I have one TikTok video that has how many views? It's hilarious. It's like literally my third or fourth video, was it? My third video has 186,000 views. And it's, well, I can play it because it's me.
Back in the 80s, I created this triple dive bomb.
Now I said, I knew when I said I created, I actually did create that. Nobody showed me how to do that. I just thought, oh, wow, this is cool. They go down, the 3 Bs go down at different rates. It creates this cluster thing. That's really cool. And then I got all these people saying, you didn't create that. Eddie Van Halen did that before you did. You know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. In my head, in truth, no one showed it to me. I didn't learn it from Tab. I did it. So, yeah, but other than that, you know, my first video has 15,000. But usually they're 2,300, 1,800, 1,500, 5,500. The last one I did only has 500, 600, 500. It's so funny. They really like the effecty things. But even like this one's a cool. Hey, look, I'm wearing this shirt. That's funny. But I kind of did a lot of harmonics. What's this one? Yep. So different shirt. So, yeah. So I'm kind of haven't done a TikTok in a long time. I mean, I don't know that it's really driven. I have like 3,500 followers. It hasn't really driven anybody to my YouTube channel, as far as I know. Anybody here from TikTok? I don't think so. So okay. Yeah, so I'll be praying for your mom. Lord, we lift up Holly's mom. Keep her safe. And that's the worst thing about the COVID thing is. You know, Ramon's wife can't be with him. So if he does pass away on the ventilator, he'll be passing away alone, which is just kind of sad. I mean, I imagine when you pass away, you do literally lift out of your body and you can see everything around you as you're, you know, because there have been people that had near-death experiences and they describe that very thing. It's probably part of the reason that people believe in ghosts because, you know, technically in that moment there is a spirit leaving a body. So, you know, they say the eyes are the windows to the soul, and you notice when people die, oftentimes their eyes are open, and that's how the soul gets out, right? I'm sounding like some superstitious, you know. I'm just imagining the most poetic way I can imagine death. So, oh, you saw Beato last night? Oh, you watched this video? Yes. I have to watch that one. Bruce sent me that one, the new one. I think it was a new one, and I'll check it out. All right, so I'm going to take off. I'm going to get some work done, and I've got the video of the unboxing of this. All right, so thank you everybody for this. This represents a lot of hard work, and if I say in the video, if I can get all 100,000 of you to tell 10 of your friends. We can get to 1 million. Okay? That's about the only way it's going to happen, I swear. I just don't, I mean, I didn't think I'd get to 100,000. This is a complete shock. But when I got to 60 or 70, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get to 100,000, just a matter of time. But back when I had 8,000, I never imagined that this would be an award. So I'm not sure where I'm going to hang this yet. But it probably, you know, I'll try to get it behind me so we can see, you guys can see it. I'm just not sure. I mean, that lamp doesn't really, I don't use that lamp very much, so I could move that. You know, put it somewhere like here. That might look nice there if I got rid of the lamp. So maybe I'll do that. I was thinking behind the door over here, but I have that door open all the time, so I wouldn't see it. So, but yeah, $1 million or bust. Thanks, Gary. Get on those forums and start finding my videos that are apropos to the forum discussion and post my videos up there and see if we can get some videos trending. That's the best way. That's where a lot of my videos, and I talk about it in the video, and I'll just wait till you see it. But yeah, I talk about the different ways that sometimes your videos take, you know, or your channel gets noticed. So, all right. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that your dad's still alive, Sam. He's like 90 something, isn't he? It's crazy. I'll continue to be praying for your mom, Holly. That's scary, I know. You're young, so your mom must be young. So she'll be fine. But yeah, it's hard in the nursing homes, you know, it's just, I mean, I went to see my mom when she was at the very end, when she was in nursing home. And the smell, it's just like, oh, it's so sad. Ugh, I hated it. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't the best nursing home, but it was literally right behind the apartment building we lived in. So I could see her room from our apartment, which was amazing. To think that we'd moved into that building 32 years before that, or 30 years before that, and that we were going to use that nursing home that was behind it all those years later. So, okay, I will. Okay, not behind the door. Okay, I will put it right there then. So next week it should be up by then. All right, thank you so much, everybody. We got 41, 40. What did it get to? 40. Not bad, not bad. I really appreciate you all. I appreciate the coin, everybody. That helps. Joseph, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Like I said, part of when you're self-employed, when you're doing something like music for a living, it's like if there's money over here, if you're making money in this part of your job, business model, whatever, you're gonna spend more time there because you're gonna be able to expand your income. Over here, if nothing over here, you're gonna spend less time on it. So again, the more revenue I make from YouTube, the more YouTube videos I can justify making. I'm not being greedy. It's just I only have so many hours in a week or so many hours in a day that I can do work for. And for the most part, my biggest revenue tends to be music on television. So, I mean, I write pop songs and pop artists, but most of them don't come out. And I've never written a hit. So none of them have been like pay off the house money. But there's the other, the lion's share of my revenue is sessions that I do for game composers and TV shows and movies. And then, but the biggest chunk, it's like a 40-30 kind of thing. But probably 40% of my income is, somewhere around there, is royalties from TV shows that I write music for. So that's what I'm going to do right now. When we log off, I'm going to go back to finishing some of these little musical snippets that I send to these these production companies, and then they put them in TV shows. So anyway, that's it. That's why. Yeah, exactly. Tithe where you're being fed. Thanks, Joseph. All right, I will. Yeah, I agree. Smell of death. Ugh. Anyway, C79. Oh, she's a kid. Oh yeah, that's same thing with my mom. The brain started to, physically she was okay, but brain went out, and then physically my mom had defeated cancer 3 times. Crazy. So she'd kind of been beat up by the process of that. But all right. So I'll see you on Thursday, 2 o'clock my time on the Zoom thing. The Zoom link is there. I set an alarm on my phone. Hopefully I'll